This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where Irvin and I come at you live from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. If you want to join our conversation and give us a piece of your mind, you can do so by calling this number, 347-857-3958. Again, the number here to the studio is 347-857-3958. Irv, my friend.
Yes, sir.
How was your day today, sir?
I had a great day today, man. I learned some more new stuff.
Well, what'd you learn?
Man, I learned that you could have shift work disorder.
You know, I'm suffering from that.
You could have, do you have shift work disorder? I don't know.
What in the hell is that?
I don't know, but they got a drug for it.
What don't they have a drug for?
You know what I'm convinced of, and you got to know that there are three things that I absolutely love and appreciate about our country.
Okay.
All right. One of them is entrepreneurship.
Okay.
All right. Two is capitalism.
Yes.
And three is free enterprise.
All right.
All right. Now, I love a country where you can literally create a pill. Come on, John. You can create a pill and then invent an ailment that it fixes.
But, you know, I have to ask. I mean, if I get this pill because I'm suffering from shift work disorder.
That's right.
What does it do for me?
Well, it cures your shift work. Now you so sleepy, you late, and now you get fired, and now your shift work problem. I don't know.
It's solved. You know, and I don't know. Is that just a Tylenol pill?
I don't know what it is. I heard that today, and I said, "What the heck is shift work disorder?"
And, you know, the way that they paint the picture as though it's someone who's suffering from, I guess, the ability to sleep because they work overnight.
Okay.
From doing shift work.
What? Look, if you're sleepy, you go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
I don't get it. But, you know, you're absolutely right. I mean, you can create a pill for everything except for bad credit.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on that pill to come out.
That's not come out.
I'm going to invest in that
one.
Yeah,
you can't lose weight with a pill.
And
I know I'm going to get some calls on that one.
I don't know any that you
I don't
not
know.
Long term.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Oprah was on television on her own show, and she said, look, if there was a pill, folks, I'd have bought it. And trust me, I can afford it.
Absolutely.
So that's not it.
That says it
I don't know. Maybe somebody can call us and tell us what shift work disorder is.
Shift work disorder. I don't know. But, you know, and as I think about other things that are happening out there in the world that sort of leave me stunned, what do you think is going to happen with this bill to force internet sellers, people who sell things on the internet, to have to start collecting sales tax? You think that's fair?
No.
Really?
No, I really don't.
Why not?
Because the internet belongs to the public. It's yet again the government trying to regulate something that belongs to the public. And I don't think that's fair. I think.
But now hold on a second. Now, what about all the big box retailers who say, "Listen, we go through the trouble of hiring folks.
Right.
We go through the trouble of putting a business together on Main Street.
Yep.
And just because we are domiciled in a particular county, city, or state,
right.
Now we have the unfair advantage of having to collect sales tax, and these other cats over here that are selling things from Costa Rica, China, and even places inside the United States,
right?
They have an unfair advantage against me because they're not having to collect sales tax.
Get on the internet and level the playing field. See that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean by freedom and your freedom to enterprise. You know what? If your competitors are doing something, don't whine. Get in the game.
So what you're saying then is that every big box retailer should probably reduce their footprint,
right,
and increase their web presence.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Bring down your overhead, folks. Don't sit there and blubber and complain because you didn't want to change and adjust your business model and go where your customers are. Your competitors found a new place to fish. It's called the internet. Now you want to blubber and complain because they adjusted and you didn't?
If you want to make a comment about this, you're more than welcome to give us a phone call. You can dial 347-857-3958. Again, the number here to the studio to reach Irvin and I is 347-857-3958. Now, and I don't want to come across as sounding unpatriotic.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you, I pay as small a portion of my pro rata share of taxes as I possibly can.
I understand that.
Yeah. And but I'm with you on that argument. I do believe that perhaps if the market is tending to shift in a certain direction, why punish the market?
Right. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Because see, at the end of the day, what happens is who actually pays those sales taxes? The consumer.
The consumer.
All right. Then so what? So what's the rub? That money is going to pass right through that retailer, right, to whatever that government agency is, whatever that taxing authority is in that area or what have you. So my point is, at the end of the day, the advantage that should go to the consumer would go away.
I agree.
And
essentially. Now, one of the things about buying things on the internet is I have to generally wait a few days before I take delivery.
Yeah, but we're going to wait anyway.
Yeah, okay, well, but the thing is, but now what's my reason then for going to the internet other than laziness?
What?
If I'm not going to save any money by doing so. And then in addition to that, I want you to address that.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, what happens if I'm selling, what is the tax that I'm going to pay? And is it different depending on where my consumer is?
That's right.
Where they're taking delivery.
That's
so
right.
Now do I have to go through the trouble of figuring out what the tax rates are in all 50 states and all the cities?
That's right.
That's unfair.
Now you got to have a permit in each state wherever your customers might be. I mean, there's some cost involved in implementing sales tax across all retailers on the web. Now, quite frankly, there are some retailers who have already made this adjustment in anticipation that this is going to be the case, where they are collecting sales tax no matter where you are. All right. Now, there are a few retailers already doing that. I'm talking about internet retailers now.
Oh, are they?
Oh, yeah. There are a few that are doing it. Okay. But
May I ask why?
Well, because they're in anticipation of this rule going through. They don't want.
Wait a second. So what happens if I buy something from these guys and the rule doesn't go through? Where is my tax money?
Well, they're going to keep it. They're not going to send it back. That's un-American.
Continue. I'm sorry that I keep interrupting here.
Well, my point is, John, you see, you touched on a whole firestorm of stuff right here, man, talking about this sales tax thing. And I have a real issue with government intervening on something that works because they want to cash in on it.
And that's really the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. I mean, we're already forced. You know this. I mean, I'm heavily tied in with government agencies.
Yes,
right?
you are.
And
so you have to tread this subject, I'm sure.
Oh, heck no, I don't. I don't work for them people. They work for me. I ain't scared of them at all. Trust me.
That's a good point.
Oh, heck no. I ain't scared. I ain't never met a government official I'm scared of yet. Not yet.
Not if you're in an elected position.
No. Especially if you're an elected official,
So go ahead.
But my point is that, government agencies, they only have income three ways: taxes, fines, and fees.
Okay.
All right. Now, in this country, because we're a capitalist country, our government agencies, our government officials, they collect money based on these taxes, different taxes. Not just sales tax, not just income, tax on purchases, the whole thing. I'm talking about all the taxes. So the net of this is that we are forced to pay in to this government system.
That's correct.
We're forced to.
Yes, we are.
If you bought gasoline, you paid taxes.
That's right.
If you bought a hamburger at a restaurant, you paid taxes. The bottom line is you pay taxes.
No matter what.
No matter what, you're forced to pay taxes. Now, here's the thing. Small business owners often scoff at the idea of positioning themselves to sell to the government where they can actually benefit by increasing their sales by selling to the government, because they're so disenchanted with the way government is being run that they will literally limit their business, John, limit their sales opportunities, limit their chance for increased profits because they don't want to sell to the government. Now, here's the point. Whether you think you're, sucking off the government breast, as it were, the point is you are forced to pay into this system.
That's right.
You, I, and everybody else.
Right.
Well, why not position your business to take out a piece of this pie that you're forced to pay into? That's the part I don't understand.
Well, because it's hard.
Well, it's not hard.
Well,
it's time consuming and it's red tape. It may be inconvenient, but it ain't hard.
And those are not excuses for not doing so.
Exactly.
You know, I'm interested to know what your take is. If you'd like to give us a phone call, you're more than welcome to. You can reach us at 347-857-3958. Again, the number to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes is 347-857-3958. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Irvin and I are going to sort of change the topic up just a little bit. We're going to talk about some other things that are small business. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the magazine that is for and about Houston's entrepreneur, and the magazine is chock full of articles that talk about business strategies, business purpose, things to improve your business, things that you can use real time today to increase your means. Guys, if you'd like to get a free copy of the magazine that we produce each and every month, all you have to do is go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com, input your information, and we will send one to your email inbox each and every month. Stay with us. Don't go away. More in a moment from John Cruz and Irv Hughes.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show, guys. Urban and I are talking about Small Business 1.0 today. We've sort of gotten off the subject of taxes and firing local officials and all of that sort of thing. But nonetheless, that topic is important.
Sure it is.
And I think that each small business person who has any sort of web presence should be following that legislation closely, because it could change how you're able to advance your business on the internet.
That's exactly right. I mean, my thing is, even in keeping with Small Business 1.0, you know what, folks? Stay in touch. Stay engaged.
That's it.
You need to understand what's happening out here that's going to affect your business. You might say, well, I don't even have a web page. It's not going to affect me. Wrong.
Right.
It's going to affect you.
Right.
Because guess what? Unless you're a recluse, unless you have a zero footprint on this planet.
And even if you don't sell things on the internet, some of us buy things on the internet.
Exactly
so it's still going to affect you. You should be on top of it.
You.
And the position that you're in today in your business should not dictate where you're going to be next year.
That's correct.
Just because you don't have a web presence today doesn't mean that you're going to see the value in having one and then push your business in that direction.
No, that's exactly right. And I mean, folks, businesses change, overheads change, all kinds of things happen. And quite frankly, you've got to be ready to adjust.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're talking about Business 1.0, and the reason we're talking about that is because more often than not, I'm going to say that the large body of listeners who listen to our show, who download our show, I would say, Irvin, are individuals who have been in business for probably less than 5 years.
No doubt.
And the bulk of those individuals, I would say, are people who are looking to increase their business, who probably don't have a footprint. They're trying to get out of doing, as you put it, doing business in their closet.
Sure.
They're closet entrepreneurs. And we're going to just talk a little bit about the beginning stages of business, those things that you have to get right from the beginning that you should be focused on. And how often do you have someone who takes your class who's been toying and entertaining the idea of getting started in their business, but for no real reason, they have just not pulled the trigger. And I like to refer to that as perfection paralysis.
That's exactly right.
They're waiting on everything to be perfect. I mean, the stars have got to line up.
Right.
It's got to be a clear sunny day,
That's
30% humidity. I mean, it's just got to, otherwise, it's just not worth starting at all.
All conditions aren't right to start. So I can't start.
I can't start.
Whatever that means. I mean, that's
so. What do you say to that person?
Well, were the conditions right for you to get married?
No.
Were the conditions right for you to have a child?
No.
Were the conditions right for you to graduate from college?
I didn't.
My point.
I still went.
I went through college too, in the front door and out the back.
Right.
But that's not the point. The point is that all conditions aren't right to start. And if somebody thinking that they've got to wait for these perfect conditions before they start their business, or watch this one, John, or expand their business. Really? Really? Guess what? Let me just give you a tip, folks. Neither the market nor your competitors are waiting on your conditions.
That's right. That's exactly
Neither one
right.
is waiting on your conditions. The conditions aren't going to be right to start, but you got to start. We have a thing in my company that we talk about all the time. You know what it is?
What is it?
Fight in the air. Do we want to allow our competitors, these are our counterparts, to take shots at us while we're sitting on the runway? Do we want to take our chances sitting on the runway, or do we want to
waiting to launch?
Waiting to launch, or do we want to take our chances in the air?
In a dogfight.
In a dogfight.
Put me up in the air.
Put me in the air every time.
Yeah. Get me flying.
Yeah, that's right. I just want to clear the fence and the trees, and then we'll deal with the rest
everything
of it.
else.
But I'm not going to sit here and get shot at.
I totally agree with that. I mean, my concept has always been start where you are with what you have.
That's right.
And make a go of it.
Oftentimes, though, John, you're talking about perfection paralysis. Oftentimes people, this limitation is really self-imposed. It's one of those really nasty ones in my mind. Because what happens, one of the things I talk about in my training class all the time is don't make stuff up. Don't make a problem. It's like saying, well, I'm not going to work today because I'm not sure that all the traffic lights that I get to are going to be green. And if they're not all going to be green, I probably should not leave home.
What's the point?
What's the point? And see that kind of thinking, that's dangerous thinking, and it's creepy too, because it'll creep up on you.
Yeah, you know, and I'll say this: get started. Take your perfectly imperfect idea to market. Once you know that you have at least the bare minimum. I mean, you know, my heart goes out to these guys, these who make music, and instead of, you know, making it perfect where they can have a store or a perfect website, they're selling CDs out of their car.
That's exactly right.
I mean, they get out there, they get started, they put the first product out there, they get some market feedback,
right,
and then they adjust,
right,
and revise.
That's what you do.
But they stay at it.
You have to stay at it, and you know what? And if there's any secret to success, folks, it's that break the inertia. You know, you call it paralysis, I call it inertia.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe that inertia, you know, when people are uncomfortable financially,
Mm-hmm.
and then they find themselves in a situation where, guess what? Here comes an opportunity for me to fix my financial problem, but I've been uncomfortable for so long that now my discomfort is normal. And now I'm perfectly comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to me, now you've got a case of inertia. You need to break that.
Well, someday never comes.
Yeah, it never comes.
Someday never comes.
Someday I'll.
If you're thinking about a business right now, do yourself this favor. Start thinking about what can you do to get it started within the next 30 days or within the next 60 days. What are those things that need to happen that absolutely must happen for you to be considered a concern? If you're selling clothes, then you have to figure out how much product can I get.
Sure.
There's some questions that have to be answered.
Absolutely.
But get started.
Absolutely. So who are some folks who were good or bad at making these adjustments? Who's that? Who's some big brand or some names that we can throw out to our listeners who are some people who maybe they were good at adjusting or maybe not?
Well, you know what? I got some notes here that I just have to read.
Okay.
You know, and when we think about businesses that just started with what they have,
sure,
I'm reminded of Windows Vista.
Windows Vista.
Now, here's a multi-billion-dollar company,
right?
That if this operating system wasn't ready to go, why didn't you just wait until it was perfect? Because Windows Vista crashed about 3 machines of mine.
It had fixes.
I had to go back to XP.
Yeah.
You know, I was burning motherboards all over the place, man. So that's one of the names that comes up that you know, this is a major company. They put out a product that was inferior.
Right.
And they adjusted, they revised, they moved on, but they put it out.
That's right.
At
That's
the time
point.
that they said that they
And you
would.
know what? Behind that, they put out something called known issues. Whatever known issues are.
This is what we know is going to happen.
Yeah, we know this is wrong.
Yeah, we know we don't have fixes for this.
But we're going to launch this product.
And we want to hear from you because I'm sure there's some things that we don't know that are going to happen.
But here's the things we do know.
Yeah. Something else. The Edsel.
The Edsel.
Or the Corvair.
Oh man, the Corvair. That was the thing. That was the thing that Ralph Nader put out, wasn't it? The Corvair.
Said it
that
was
thing
a death trap.
It had the wiggling wheels.
The wheels would buckle in and it was an experience. But this is a company. This is I think GM made the Corvair.
Oh, wow.
And they put out a product that was inferior. They got it out to market. They figured out that this was a death box. And they took it off the market, and they you know. So we're not asking you to put out something as inferior as that, but we're saying we're using that as an example. That put it out there. If you have an idea, if you think that you can make a go of it, give it your best shot. Get started today, and give yourself the opportunity to adjust and revise.
You know, a lot of people though, John, they just they tell me that they're afraid they're going to fail.
I am also. I'm afraid every day that I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
Every single day. There's not a day that I go into my office that I am not afraid that things are not going to go my way that day.
Yeah, but that doesn't keep you in bed.
Of course not.
So you actually get out of bed even though you have this fear that something bad's going to happen for the day.
Because I know, Irvin, that the biggest payoff for me is overcoming my fears.
Right.
That is what defines and makes a life for myself. not being closed in and running from or shrinking back from those fears. I'm defined by, I didn't want to jump out of an airplane.
Yeah, hey, neither did I.
But I did it.
That's right.
And then once I hit the ground,
yeah,
it was an exhilarating feeling. It's that same way when I go and I blaze a trail and that nobody else has blazed, and I do something where I've depended on myself, my psyche, my talent, my skill, my resources, my connections, relationships, and I experience success. It's that same feeling.
Absolutely. I mean, talking about running out of the back end of a perfectly good aircraft, I'm going to tell you what, man, that's about the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
I think so.
I really do. I think
very exhilarating.
Very exhilarating.
Especially when the chute opens.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I was a bundle of nerves until that happened. Oh,
man, I'm telling you what. Hey, did your chute come open when you pull the ripcord? What we're talking about today is pulling the ripcord. We talked about Business 1.0. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by the Lexington Law Firm. When you need credit help, you can get a free consultation today by calling 888-744-7081. Hey, get a pen out. The education continues right after we come back.
Your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee News. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for Coffee News. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle. Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff. Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irvin and I are talking about Small Business 1.0, getting yourself started. What are those things that you need to be focused on to get your idea to the market? The first thing we talked about in the last segment was perfection paralysis, failure to launch, whatever you want to call it. You got to get it in your mind that you're going to get started. Give yourself a drop-dead date. do what's necessary for you to be able to bring your idea, your product to the market, and just get out there and start selling, start talking to people, start making relationships, and start doing business.
Absolutely. Get out there and get going.
Now, secondarily to that, once you've made up your mind that you are going to start,
right?
What do you think the next thing that they should do, Irv?
You better plan.
Come on, man. Everybody says that.
No, you better plan. This is a good way to get into trouble. You see, planning allows you to address all those issues that you're going to have on paper before they're real and costly.
Now, that was worth the price of admission.
Absolutely.
Right there. I mean, that is the reason to develop a business plan.
That's the reason.
You should not just be arbitrarily putting words down on a piece of paper and collecting it in page format and then saying, okay, well, I got this plan. A business plan is you running through your mind how things are going to go.
That's right.
And the point of a business plan generally will tell you if this is something that you want to do or not.
Let me tell you.
I have put business plans together, and after doing
and
so.
And decided you didn't want to do it?
Oh, man, I don't want to do this.
I have done that. I have done that. In fact, one time I actually wrote a whole business plan. I looked at it and determined, well, you know what it's going to take for this plan to be successful? I need to sell this to somebody who is a lot more ready to commit to this level of activity than I am.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to tell you what, for our listeners, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to give you some money right here. If you write a business plan, folks, and you believe your model is sound, all right?
Yeah.
And then you determine that you are unwilling or otherwise unable to deliver on the level of activity it's going to take to make that happen, sell 90% of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Create the business, set it all up, and sell it.
I mean, that's the beautiful part about being in business is that you can get as creative as your mind will allow you to.
That's right.
I mean, you're only limited by your own imagination.
That's
so
right.
Once you figure out, hey, this is going to take one hell of a commitment that I'm not ready to make, but it's still a great idea. Now I got to find either a partner,
right,
or some associates,
right,
that are going to help me be able to ramp up this idea and get it to market without me taking the burden of all of the responsibility or all the risk.
That plan has to tell a story about what you're going to sell, how you're going to sell it, when are you going to sell it, where you're going to sell it, who you're going to sell it to, what you're going to do when bad things happen, or else you're not going to get a dime for it, by the way.
That's right.
You better figure out what you're going to do when bad things happen. And I guess the other thing is, what problem will it solve?
Yeah.
You know, you got to solve a problem. You know, oftentimes people say, well, I'm going to start my own business because I don't know what else to do. Wrong.
That's
no,
right.
you need to start your own business because you have something to contribute.
Yes.
You have something to give. You have something to say. You have something to do. That's the reason you start your own business.
You know, I hope this isn't falling on deaf ears, but guys, I mean, you can save yourself a boatload of financial trauma by coming up with a business plan, doing your level best to put a plan together. And we often talk about, if you're in the Houston area, really if you're anywhere around the world, there are agencies that are open and ready to sit down and meet with you to help you put your idea together in plan form. One of the places here in Houston that we talk about is SCORE, which is the Service Corps of Retired Executives.
That's right.
They will give you a business plan that you can follow along, answer all the questions, put it in a format, and then depending on what industry you're in, SCORE will pair you with a retired executive with that level of experience to sit down with you, go through your plan, and help you realistically make any types of changes or alterations to your model based on that person's experience.
That's right. And you know what else? If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you know what? Do the best you can. Start writing your plan. And you know what? Go to the small business development centers.
That's it.
There's one in your area somewhere.
Right.
Go to a small business development center. Oftentimes, they even have business plan writing classes where you can actually go in there and have somebody who is an expert at it teach you about some of the finer points of writing a business plan. I happen to like to write my own.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. What I do is I write my own. I do the best I can, and then I get some expert to go and blow holes in it so I can tighten it up.
Right.
Oftentimes, though, I find out people are emotionally attached to their business plan writing, And then they won't let somebody help them get it tight where they adjust it.
I'm going to tell you this. The quickest way to failure in any industry. Now, make certain that you're listening to this. The quickest way to failure in anything that you're doing is to not accept qualified help.
That's exactly right.
So if you want to fail fast, do it all yourself. Don't
right.
let anybody give you any input. Don't let anybody influence your decision. Don't let anybody help you mold and perfect your idea. And I guarantee you will not last long.
Man, you're going to bust your can, man.
Yes, you will.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
So you got to get help. And as Urban said, your plan has to tell a story. It has to tell the who, what, why, when, where, whom story. You know, who you're going to bring in, what product are you selling, who is your customer. You got to know these things.
That's right.
And your plan helps you. And I'm going to tell you, the beauty of a plan when I do it is it helps me figure out some things about the success of a business that I hadn't quite considered until I started doing the plan.
That's exactly right, because you will not figure that out until you start trying to capture what you have in your mind on paper. Then, and oftentimes only then, will you wind up saying, well, wait a minute, I got to rethink that.
Right.
It's not nearly as simple as I might have thought.
Now, what are your thoughts on some of these sites where you can go on and buy a business plan and use it? Plan in a can.
No, don't, folks.
You know what? I think I might see if that URL is available.
No, plan in a can.
Plan in a can.
I don't know. Somebody's probably doing it right now.
You know what? They might.
You said that live on the air.
Man, that's my next great idea. I'm gonna start selling business plans.
I don't know. We got a heck of a lot of listeners, John. It might be gone now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find www.planinacan.
Man, I'm gonna make sure you don't get any shares in Boston Baked Beans. Whatever. What's his name?
Bush's Baked Beans.
I said Boston. It was Bush's Baked Beans. Yeah, I mean you're gonna be like Duke, man. You're
I'm gonna tell the secret, right?
Man, my goodness.
But I'm against canned plans.
No, I absolutely am.
Because it has to be your own. You have to own your plan. You have to make certain that these are your words. This is your idea. This is your passion. Your plan should resonate you.
Right. Here's the point. That plan needs to be authentic, folks.
Yeah.
And if you didn't write it, and let me just say this. Some people will say, well, I don't have writing skills and I'm going to hire somebody to write it. Well, that's fine as long as they are following your instructions.
Right.
As long as they're following your outline, as long as they're writing down what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that business plan is not what I would consider authentic.
I would agree. Now, what do you think people should do? Because this is where most people struggle with their plan, including myself. I'm great with everything except when it comes to getting to the financials.
Oh, boy.
I always need help.
Yeah.
Figuring out what the long-term expenses are and what my break-even analysis will look like. And that's where I go to sleep.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's about where I wake up. Yeah, I don't know. The financials, look, get help on the financials, all right?
Who should I go to?
I would go to a finance person. I would not go to an accountant, and I certainly would not go to an attorney.
Okay.
I would go and get a referral, generally from a small business development center. I would go to SCORE and get somebody who is not, hear me, folks, not an accountant, somebody who is a finance person.
What's the difference?
Well, the main difference is this. A finance person is going to look at financial statements as if they are an investor and or a banker. Mm-hmm. So they're going to make those numbers make sense for somebody that you can submit it to who is in the finance industry where that's going to make sense. Accountants generally will take a position on financials where they're going to do things that's going to minimize the amount of income because their goal is to reduce your tax liability.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the problem. Oftentimes people get confused between a tax strategy and a growth strategy. When you're starting a business, you need to have a growth strategy reflected in your pro forma financials, not a tax strategy. You don't need to be worried about taxes in the beginning phases of your business because every business starts out the same way, John, with no income and no assets.
Right.
So guess what? You better start with somebody who's going to set your financials up where you can demonstrate what the growth strategy is going to be and not the tax strategy.
Now, in this segment, we've been talking about all the things that you must have in your plan. As Irv said, your plan must tell a story. And one of the things that I love to have in your plan is who your legal source would be, who you're using for a CPA or an accountant.
Sure.
I'd like to know who you're using.
Sure.
And I also like to know what's the difference between you and everybody else that's doing what you do.
Yeah, what is going to be your key differentiator?
What makes you unique?
Absolutely.
And here's the thing, Irv. It's okay if you're not going to do anything different, but you're going to capitalize off of your current or existing relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
It's okay that you're not going to reinvent the wheel, but I have 18 friends who have all agreed to become my customer if I get in the wheel making business.
That's exactly right. And you know what? That alone says something, doesn't it?
It does.
Absolutely, it does. And you know what? When we come back, John, we got to talk about one of those sticking points in Business 1.0 when somebody is starting a business, and oftentimes they don't start out with the end at the beginning. You know what? You better start out thinking about what is going to be the end when you start. And oftentimes small business owners make a huge error right here when they're thinking about starting a business because they don't think about the dreaded exit strategy.
Absolutely.
What is the exit strategy? You better figure that out. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by SalesNexus.com. SalesNexus offers the best in web-based customer relationship management systems. You can sign up today for a free trial copy of SalesNexus by visiting SalesNexus.com or give them a call at 888-267-3589. Stay with us, folks. The education continues right after these messages. Don't go away.
Turn up the sales on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee News. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for Coffee News. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to Cruz and Hughes. We're talking about Small Business 1.0 today. Those things that you should be thinking about before you launch. The first thing we talked about, Irv, was perfection paralysis.
Yep.
Go ahead and decide that you're going to do it and give yourself a drop-dead day to start your business.
Take off.
Second thing you got to do is put your business plan together. And we talked about the elements that must be present in your plan.
Sure.
And then you talked about something that is sort of strange to most people. Okay, you want me to decide to start, figure out a drop-dead date. In that time, put my business plan together. And then before I even get the doors open,
that's right,
think about how I'm going to
walk
away from the whole thing.
That's right. How are you going to exit?
Why should I do that?
Because guess what, folks? You better set some goals, and you better set some realistic goals, okay? If you start your business without understanding where it is you want to wind up, you're going to probably wind up in a place that you wish you hadn't. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like logging a flight plan. You have to have a destination in mind. For example, if you start a business and you know that 10 years from now you want to be in this business 10 years and then you want to sell it, right? Mm-hmm. How much do you want to sell it for in 10 years? Mm-hmm. That's going to determine how much you need to be building into it to determine what is that company going to be worth 10 years from now.
So essentially, I'm modeling out what that company, that 10-year-old company, is going to look like.
That's exactly right. You know, how do you see yourself cashing out of this business? What is going to be the exit plan for you and your investors? What are those triggers? Mm-hmm. Is it a market condition? Hopefully
I like
not.
that. Triggers.
That's right.
So certain checkpoints or things that happen.
Sure.
When these things happen, I know that I'm on my path.
That's right.
That it's time to go ahead and sell.
That's exactly right. And you know what? Oftentimes people in their enthusiasm to get going, they oftentimes don't think about what is going to be the exit strategy. Also, you need to understand what is going to be the exit strategy for your lenders or investors. Mm-hmm. How are you going to get them out? And understanding that talking about an exit strategy is not a bad thing, folks. It's responsibility. Mm-hmm. You need to be responsible to think about, how am I going to get the people who have hitched their wagon to mine, right? How am I going to get these folks to the destination that they want safely?
Right. What's in it for them?
What's in it for them? And you know, and plan for what you didn't plan for.
And that's hard to plan for.
Wow, and that's hard to plan for. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you get started, oftentimes you can get investors, or you can get lenders, or you can get friends and family and these kinds of people involved in your business in the early stages. But let's assume that something that you didn't plan for happens. Mm-hmm. What is that plan?
Right.
How does that person exit your company?
You know, so essentially what you're telling me that our listening audience needs to do is they need to know what it is that they want from their business.
That's right.
And what they want to get out of this business.
Correct.
And it has to be more than, your plan has to be more than just to make enough sales to sustain the business.
Right.
Or make enough sales so that I can pay my own bills.
Exactly. No,
you got to think beyond that.
It's got to be way beyond that, folks. And just think about it like this. After 10 years under my command, is this company still worth somebody buying? Is their value still there? That's a real way to look at it.
Well, you know, my feeling is that you first must know what it is that you want.
Correct.
Before you can get what you want.
That's absolutely true.
And if you're looking to get what it is that you think you want, you need to know specifically in great detail how you see this thing playing out.
That's right.
And I don't mean because it's real easy to say that, yeah, I'm going to be as big as Standard Oil or yeah, that's a lofty dream.
Right.
But what is your plan? How are you going to ramp up to that? And once you have ramped up to that, then how do you get off?
Sure. How do you get off this bus? I mean, at some point you're going to want to go fishing. I mean, perhaps you have earned that right.
Right.
Hopefully you've earned that right.
Right.
But what's going to trigger that to happen? I mean, does that mean, on your 65th birthday, no matter where you are, you're going to start the exit plan? I mean, what does that mean? What's the trigger for that?
And to me, it calls for you to have a great operation strategy.
No doubt about it.
And so before you can, so your business plan is your precursor to getting started. It tells you all the things that you need. It basically confirms that, you know what, based on all of the market data and research that I've done, this is going to be something that I believe will be profitable for me and those others who are involved. Then you have to have an operational plan, and that is, how are you going to operate this business? How will you grow it? Who will you use? You know, what are the nuts and bolts in terms of between the business plan and the exit strategy?
That's right.
That's your operation. How are you going to run this thing?
That's exactly right. And let me just say this, and I'll just throw this out for the benefit of our folks. This is a whole nother show, but I'm going to throw this out because, folks, if you're listening to our show and you listen to us all the time, one of the things you'll know is that we'll give you information, and I almost hate to do this, but it's a homework assignment. Go look up the word sustainability. With your operation strategy, keep sustainability in mind, because at the end of the day, at the end of your tenure in business, when you want to exit, one of the things that people are going to look at that's going to be an intangible value for your company is how sustainable is your business? How sustainable is this market you're in? Did you develop it? Is it changing to the place where now it's no longer sustainable? And then if it's not, what did you put in your operation that will keep you in a place where you can adjust and keep your business viable?
Yeah, that's good.
Sustainability.
Let's talk a little bit about lessons that you and I have learned from failure. And some people, you know, they say, well, I don't believe in failure. It's just
right.
Yeah, to me, if you didn't reach the goals that you had set for yourself, you fell short. You failed. It's okay. Get back in the game. Get started again. But some of the things I just wanted to, I wanted you and I to just sort of kick some ideas around.
All right.
And the first thing that comes to mind for me is when you get this business started, you figured out your business plan. You've given yourself a drop dead date. You figured out your business plan. You figured out how you're going to operate. You figured out how you're going to exit it. But these are some things that you can just do well to keep in mind.
Sure.
Successful people know that there is power in the word no.
Right.
But it takes an incredible amount of courage to use it.
No doubt.
And the best thing that you can do as a new and burgeoning business is know when to evoke the word no.
Yes, folks. And I'm going to tell you what, you better figure out when to say no. And you know what? And it's tough to do, John, when you haven't set good goals for yourself.
Right.
Because now you can't tell whether saying yes is going to take you toward
That's true.
or
Good
away
point.
from your objective.
Good point.
And so if you don't have an objective, you'll say yes to things that you should not have. And let me tell you what, that will get you in trouble. You know what? Staying focused.
Okay.
That's another one. You know what? I can tell you that if I allow life to cause me to not focus on my business, it will cost me every time.
Absolutely. Don't be all things to all people is essentially what you're saying.
That's exactly right.
Stay focused on what it is that you do and how you do it.
That's right. You know, because all kinds of opportunities, especially when you're successful, folks, all kinds of opportunities are going to come at you.
Oh, my goodness.
All kinds. But guess what? You need to say no to some, if not all, of those opportunities because it may not be your opportunity.
That's exactly right. Don't work for free.
Oh,
how many small businesses do we see that do that?
Goodness.
I mean, they think that by giving away free work, it's going to attract more customers, and it actually doesn't. It attracts more vultures.
It attracts more vultures than you know what to do with. And you know, when we come back, we're going to talk about what to do when you find out you're vulture bait. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, brought to you by Dominion Commercial Credit. Dominion Commercial Credit offers business credit and contract financing for small businesses nationwide. You can give them a call today at 800-381-0073 or visit net30credit.com. Stay with us, folks. We're in the home stretch. We'll be right back.
Improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, Disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee News. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for Coffee News. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff.
Come
buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irvin and I are talking about Small Business 1.0, and we're in the last segment at the bottom of the hour. We have a couple minutes to share a couple more do's or do-nots with you. I hit him with the last one. Why don't you throw in the next one?
when we went to break, we were talking about what to do if you find yourself being vulture bait.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what it is. Don't get in meetings with vultures. All right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't hold meetings, folks, for the sake of just meeting.
Well, you know how many people do that.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to meet.
Have you ever asked, what are we meeting about?
Yeah. What are we going to talk about? Well, I don't know. But we need to meet. No, we don't.
Right.
No, we don't need to meet.
I'm definitely against that. And in addition to that, I don't believe in lunch. Don't do lunches.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Don't do lunch,
Lunches
John?
are a colossal waste of time.
Oh man, come on! You got to eat and talk.
And as small businesses go, you don't have the money to burn on buying expensive lunch meals, especially for somebody that in the first 5 or 6 minutes you've realized is not a person that you want to do business with. Now I'm stuck with you for the next hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Listening to stories that aren't going to make me money.
Right.
Just meet for coffee.
Yeah, that's good. So you put a value on your time then.
High value.
High value on your time. So the next point, value your time, folks.
And know what that value is
That's
in
right.
money.
That's right.
So if someone says, "Hey, can I buy an hour of your time?"
That's $350.
Thank you. What would you charge them?
That's $350, Jack.
And, there are a lot of small business people
That's
that don't
right.
have an amount. They're like, I don't know what.
No.
You know,
$350 an hour, or guess what? Let's don't sell the time.
And last but not least,
don't let your clients' pressures become yours. You know what? If you got a client that's got an emergency, have them call 911. That's the number, not yours.
Well, guys, we've enjoyed bringing this little tidbit of information to you. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. So until tomorrow, Irv and I ask that you do 3 things. Be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you tomorrow.
Take care.